Hey everybody, my name is Rydo, and today we're looking at the new WitchWood expansion of Hearthstone. So they've patched it in so that at least on the Asian account now, right now, you can look at the new cards. You can't get them yet, the expansion isn't out, but the trick is simple. You go into crafting mode in your collection, and then you can see this standard set for WitchWood. Uh, of course, you don't have any of those cards, nor can you craft any of those cards, so you need to include uncraftable cards. And of course, these cards will come out in neutral and gold versions if anybody's interested in the gold versions. Last recording we covered the druid cards, so now let's look at the hunter cards. First one we have is a 2 mana, 2 attack, 1 health beast minion called a hunting mastiff. It has the new key phrase echo and the new key phrase rush. So echo means that if it was, for example, your 10th turn and you had 10 mana crystals, you could play this for 2 mana crystals and you would get 1. Then you would have a echo card, I assume, in your deck, or they're going to pop up some prompt, and I seriously doubt they would pop up a prompt. They'll probably just put an echo card in your deck. Although, maybe the rules will say that if you're going to play an echo, you have to do it directly after you've played the first echo card. That might change how things play a little bit. Anyways, in some form or fashion, after you play the first one for 2 mana, you can play another one for another 2 mana. So on your 10th turn, you could have 5 of these hunting mastiffs on your field, and they would have the key phrase rush. Now, rush means that they can attack a minion, but they can't attack the hero, so you wouldn't be able to do 10 damage to the hero, but you would be able to do 10 damage split in increments of 2 against any number of minions. Not a terrible card, and the concept of echo certainly opens something new to gameplay. Next card we have is a 2 mana spell called Rat Trap. It is a secret. After your opponent plays 3 cards in a turn, summon a 6/6 rat. It's not incredibly uncommon for somebody to play 3 cards. And it is a different trigger for this secret than what you usually get with the hunter, which is either after somebody plays a minion, or after somebody attacks a minion, or after somebody attacks the hero. That being said, there is a lot of traps in the hunter class. I think that's intentional. I think it's totally supposed to be that way, but there are a lot of them, and the secret hunter deck certainly is one you see in the meta play a lot. A lot of people play decks with lots of secrets. Next we have a 3 mana, 2 attack, 5 health minion called the Duskhaven Hunter. It has stealth. Stealth is an old key phrase, obviously. It means that they can't be attacked until they attack first, or at least they can't be attacked or targeted directly. They can still be attacked if you play a spell that attacks all the enemy minions. Each turn this is in your hand, swap its attack and health. I've never really seen a reason for these gambly cards. One turn it will be a 2/5, one turn it will be a 5/2. We've seen a couple other cards like that, and they seem to really not have any value. Like, I can't think of a strategy where I really would need something that had stealth and 5 health. Nor do I think of a strategy where if something was 5 attack with 2 health and had stealth, it might attack a hero once, but then it almost certainly dies in the next turn. Next we have a 4 mana spell called Dire Frenzy. Give a beast ++3. And shuffle 3 copies into your deck with ++3. This seems like a good card. In fact, this is the first card I've seen so far that really has me thinking, yeah, this is one to play. There's definitely some beasts in the deck, in a hunter deck you could make that if you buffed them and had 3 copies of them, you could do quite a bit. Next we have a 4 mana, 3 attack, 6 health legendary minion called the Houndmaster Shaw. Your other minions have rush. I assume this only is as long as this is on the field. It doesn't say, for instance, for the rest of the game. Which, there's already a character in the Hunter collection. There's already a beast that gives other beasts rush. So adding yet another card, well, actually there's a beast that gives other beasts charge, which is better than rush. So having another card that does that but does it for all minions doesn't seem like a very generic helpful ability. But I bet there are some very specific instances where this would make sense. For instance, if you played a 1/1 minion with poison, being poisonous, then it had rush, you might be able to play this, play that 1/1 with poisonous, have the 1/1 poison some very strong taunt enemy minion and get them out of the way very quickly. Next we have a 4 mana, 2 attack, 4 health minion called the Toxmonger. Whenever you play a 1 cost minion, give it poisonous. Well, looky there. It's almost as if the card creators were thinking the same thing I was thinking. You play this, then you play a 1 cost minion. And now it has poisonous, now it has rush. And there is a spell called Unleash the Hounds that summons as many 1/1 hounds as your enemy has minions. So assuming this works with Unleash the Hounds, it gives them poisonous, and then you could kill every single minion on the board almost guaranteed, until there's some card out there that's immune to poison, which, you know, that as a concept wouldn't be a terrible thought, to have some immune to poison creatures out there. So I imagine this card will get a lot of play, more than even this will. Next we have a 4 mana spell called the Wing Blast. Deal 4 damage to a minion. If the minion died in this turn, if a minion died in this turn, this costs 1. Again, because you're playing Hunter and Hunter plays Beasts, and Beasts are generally cannon fodder, this card is probably a lot better than you think it would be. You have a high chance in any random turn playing Hunter to have a minion die in a turn. Next we have a 5 mana, 3 attack, 7 health minion that's a dragon. It's still a minion, but it's a special dragon type minion. I would prefer if all of these characters had different labels on them, and that they would go back into the previous cards and start relabeling things. And I eventually assume that they will do some of that, but they haven't done a lot. Anyways, there's a 5 mana, 3 attack, 7 health dragon called Carrion Drake. Battlecry: if a minion died this turn, gain poisonous. Now, dragons still have a very weird strategy, and I've never found a way to play dragons and like it. A lot of dragons have battle cries that say, if a dragon was played last turn, gain this ability, and that's kind of it. It seems like it's just some random different versions of abilities. There's no synergy or anything. I can't think of a minion that says summon all the dragons that have died in this game. I don't think there's a card that says for every other dragon on the field gain +1/+1, or a card that says give all your dragons +1/+1. Dragons always seem to like to be around other dragons and buff themselves, and that's it. And because of that, I've never been able to find a strategy for it. And I haven't, in my experience, seen a lot of people play a all dragons deck. There is 1 or 2 dragons that are useful, but that's it. And that certainly didn't seem like one of the dragons that will be useful. Last 2 cards, we have a 5 mana, 1 attack, 3 health beast called the Vilebrood Skitter, Poisonous, and Rush. This seems extremely expensive for what it is. Best case scenario, you play this on the 3rd turn and it attacks a 1/1 minion and kills it because it has 1 health, and then next turn it attacks another 1/1 minion and kills it because it has health, and then the 3rd turn it kills some really powerful taunt minion. I mean, that's the best case scenario for 5 mana. Worst case scenario, you spend 5 mana, you play this, you attack 1 character, and then it dies because it only has 3 health. The 3 health in particular doesn't seem like it's that useful. And unless I've completely misunderstood what Rush is, it doesn't mean that you can attack in multiple turns multiple times in a turn. It just means you can attack minions in the first turn you're played. Yeah. Seems rather expensive. I would have put this at 3 mana, not 5. Anyways, moving on. We have a 10 mana, 8 attack, 8 health dragon minion called Imerus. Battlecry, double the attack and health of all minions in your hand. Interesting. And excuse me if I mispronounce some of these names. This might be Imerus. I mean, very possibly I'll mispronounce quite a bit. Doubling the attack and health of all minions in your hand probably is slightly helpful, but it also is not going to do too much. Like, the best scenario I could think is you play this on the 10th turn. You have a Cthulhu that, let's say it was at 15 attack and 15 health before you played this. You get it to 30 attack and 30 health. Next turn you play Cthulhu, you probably will win. That's kind of the only thing I can think of. You could certainly increase the health and the attack of other things, like, say, the Lich King, but Cthulhu is the only card I can really think of that does damage equal to its attack and health in such a significant amount. Or, more often than not, I imagine this card is just going to double the attack and health of some very simplistic low-level minions. It's not a bad card, certainly, but it doesn't feel like it is going to do anything too much. We did see some beasts in the Hunter expansion, but again, compared to all the Hunter cards that are available, there's really just this feeling that they're filling in gaps. There's so many cards that are class specific, and so many cards out there that have already been made, particularly if you're playing wild cards and looking at the wild cards instead of just the standard cards. It's hard for them in any expansion to add anything completely new and completely crazy. However, I might be surprised. Once we get down to the neutral cards over here, we may very well find that there are a lot more neutral cards that synergize in some way that I am just not seeing so far with the Druid or Hunter. But we'll have to wait until we get to that recording. That's going to be it for this recording. Stay tuned if you're watching live. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, click the notification bell, and watch every second of my videos. All of that helps me with YouTube. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. Remember, when the new expansion is playable, we plan on opening at least 150 card packs to celebrate. If you want to support me further than liking and sharing and subscribing, you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game. That helps me have games to cover besides just Hearthstone, which I cover a lot of other games besides Hearthstone. That's it for this recording. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.